You think you know me?
Oh, yeah! If you smile!
Calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Welcome to another edition of Around the Turnbuckle. I'm the big Albowski. That is Professor Keith, fresh from traveling through time. And joining us is the one and the only, the president of the 3WA, Dino Sanna. Hello, sir.
All right. How you guys doing?
Always a pleasure. Always excited. Always awesome. Yes. We're doing great. How are you?
Okay. Hanging in.
We're hanging in there. All right. So, Dino, the last time we had you on, we pretty much broke down your humble beginnings and everything you started off with. And we told everybody the whole story. And if you haven't seen that, you can go on our YouTube page and it's Dino Sanna Part 1. You could see it. It was only a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago at this point. But it wasn't that long ago when we did it. And it was a thrill to have you on and tell those stories. And towards the end of that interview, you started telling stories. You told a story about Bruno Sammartino, I remember. And I got a lot of comments from that, Keith. Everybody wanted to know more stories. But unfortunately, we were up. The hour was up. Yeah. So we had gone to the next 3WA show, and Dino says, "Oh, we got to do that again. I got lots of stories," he says. So here he is. So, Keith, is there any story in particular that you might want to zone in on, or because to me, I did have a question from a fan, and he wants to know if you ever dealt with or had a story involving Captain Lou Albano.
I actually do.
Well, there you go.
Well,
let's hear that one.
Well, it's not a long one anyway. We booked Captain Lou Albano in a big event we did in Birchboro, Pennsylvania, at the high school many years ago, and Bruno was on too. Bruno was doing the commentating. So I went to pick up Lou Albano over Allentown at the airport, and he drove with me. We went down to the show, and Lou was talking on a car and said, "Dino, I got something for you tonight." And right away, what am I thinking? I'm thinking, without saying anything to him, of course, I'm thinking what he did on the ring with somebody else when he smashed that frame. Remember, he had a picture, a big frame, and he smashed on somebody's head or whatever. I said to myself, I don't know, man. I don't know whether I could trust Lou Albano, whether he's going to do anything stupid or what, So we went to the show, we stopped. I had him, take care of the guy a little bit, have him to eat something before we went to the show. And he was keeping going. I'm ready, boys. I'm ready for tonight. I said, okay. He said, I said to him, Bruno's going to be there, so you guys could talk a little bit. He said, well, I don't really care for Bruno. He said, but if I have to, I will. Ivan Koloff was there. Nikolai Volko was there. And Jimmy Snuka, of course. So we went in the back, I introduced him to the guys, and he's staying back there and all that. So I went up when we started the show, like every other time. I went up, say hi to the fans. We sang the national anthem. And here comes out Lou Albano he had a little briefcase. Well, not a briefcase. It was something like a bag, but it was pretty big. And I'm thinking, I said, oh, my God, what the hell is he doing now? And he come up and interrupt me from talking like some of the guys do. And after he got the mic and he started to say, tonight is I'm not here to do anything except one thing. And he pointed at me and said, you Dino Sanna. I said, yeah. I said, well, what? So he goes on the bag and he pick up this thing, which I have someplace in this room. And he say, this is for you. And I'm starting to shake a little bit. I said, what is he going to do? Break on my head or something? So he gave me this. Actually, it's over here. Hold on.
Look at that.
Perfect. We got
While
the
he's
action.
doing that, Keith, we got our first comment here. Hello to the big man, the professor, and the great Dino
It's this
Sanna.
here. Right?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And what it says on the bottom is the best professional wrestling promoter in Pennsylvania.
Nice.
And in the world, or something like that. So he gave me that right on the front of all the people and all of that. And I'm looking at it and said, what the hell? So that was a really nice surprise to get it from him, you know, and from all those other guys who were involved with it. So that's the story with Lou Albano that I had. It's not a bad one, anyway.
No. I mean, with Lou, you know, he was a little bit crazy from everything I've read.
Gosh,
It wasn't just something you saw on TV. What you saw on TV was a lot of what you were getting with Lou when he wasn't on TV.
Oh, man, I tell you, Lou Albano was something else. But I tell you what, actually, I liked the time when he was involved with, when he did that show with Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty nice. You know, that was pretty nice thing. But, you know, we're talking about some things that happened in the years. Without starting talking about Bruno, I'll tell you another little story. Many years ago, we did a show over Lock Haven University. And, you know, when I book superstars, I try to make sure that they arrive at the airport on time. So I go myself and try to get those guys and want to make sure that they go to the hotel and relax and all that. So I went over Allentown and I picked up Jimmy Snuka, Scott Steiner, I think it was Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and Jim the Emperor Neihard, I think it was. So we got on the car, you know, 2 different flights, but we waited there about 45 minutes time to get all those guys together. I used to have a conversion van, one of those high top conversion van.
Right.
So Jimmy was with me on the front and then all the others in the back. And, you know, I'm on the high 81 to go Lock Haven, and I got driving pretty fast. I didn't even realize. All of a sudden, I see the light.
Oh,
Whoa, the state trooper.
Oh, man.
I said, oh, no, I said. He said, what's, Jimmy goes, what's up, brother? What happened? I said, the state troopers are behind us. I think they're stopping, you know. He said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, brother. I said, what do you mean? I said, they want to give me a freaking ticket for speeding. He said, don't worry about it. Relax. So I stopped on the side because I don't want them to gang up on me, the police, you know, call another car and try to, you know. So right away I went to the right, I slowed down, and I just stayed nice and put. So instead the troopers come over and say, do you know why I stopped you? I say, I'm not sure, but maybe because I was speeding a little bit. He say, yeah, you were going 85 miles an hour.
ooh.
I say, officer, I say, I'm so sorry. I said, but we're going to a wrestling show. He say, a wrestling show. I say, yeah, and I think we're a little late. So by that time, Snuka put his head, you know, he was on next to me, like on the other side. He put his head up and said, hi, brother, how are ya? The state trooper looks inside and say, holy shit, is that Snuka?
Yeah.
So he said, brother, it's me, yeah. Oh my God, can I shake hands with you? So he goes on the other side and starts to shake hands with Jimmy Snuka. Can I get an autograph? You know, Snuka gave him a picture of the autograph. They started talking. The police even forgot about giving me a ticket. They come back to the other side and say, okay, guys, have a good trip. Have a good show tonight. And Snuka goes, I told you, brother, don't worry about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Go ahead, Keith.
That's one of those classic old school stories, you know, like Harley race guys like that would get pulled over, and the cop would realize who they'd pull over and by the time it was over, it was a handshake, it was an autograph, it was maybe a ticket to the show, and there was no ticket for whatever they were pulled over for.
Yeah, that conversion event that I used to have, was probably about 4 months old when we picked up the Warlord one time and went to a show, and he kind of put his arm down on the table on the back, like you could put a table and put your glass on and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And him and I think it was the Barbarian, they got involved in a conversation. He went like that and broke the whole friggin' thing. When you do things like this, you always have stories to tell, you know. I say, holy smoke. But anyway, going back and some of the things, and I don't want to overdo with Bruno, because I know there's some people from California, and you don't even know this. You probably hearing this first time. There's some people from California that they try to hear stories like this so they can use on some kind of documentary, some kind of stuff they're doing about Bruno in the next year or so.
No, I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah. So they try to steal information, but that's okay. So I'm going to say a few things, but I'll say them nicely, you know. You know about Bruno Sammartino and Larry Zbyszko after they had all the stuff or whatever.
Right.
But before, when Bruno, of course, as you know, Bruno trained Larry Zbyszko. He was his protege. So this story was told me by both Bruno and Larry when we went and did something, I think it was in New Jersey at Salem County Community College. I'm not positive of the arena, but I think that's where it was. So Larry said, let me tell you a story about Bruno and I. I said, what? He said, now, Bruno, he said, just to keep you cool. He was talking to Bruno. He said, keep you cool on this one. So they were down in Vegas, and they were going to San Bernardino, California, Bruno and Larry. And Bruno was driving. Apparently, Bruno had a Cadillac or something, an old style car. This is many, many years ago. Mm-hmm. And Bruno used to be crazy about opera and lyric, like old operas, you know, yelling, you know, all that kind of stuff. It was crazy enough for that music that he had all 8 tracks and stuff like that on his car.
Of opera?
And every time he drive, he had that kind of music on the car, loud.
Interesting.
So here, Larry was on the other side. There were just 2 of them, Bruno and Larry. They were driving, and Bruno was singing and all that. And Larry said, "Geez, this time, this kind of music again and again." So there was a gas station, and Bruno stopped. He had to put gas on the car, and then I guess he went to the bathroom or something. So while they did that, Larry, he opened up the side drawer and it's going through the music that Bruno had, and he find a rock and roll cassette.
Uh-oh.
So he pushed that out, the lyric, the Mario Lanza, whatever it was, he pulled that out, and he put the cassette with the rock and roll. This, I swear to God, this one you could call Larry Zbyszko. And he'll tell you what happened, man. This is no bull crap, you know. So you wait, and here comes Bruno. He put the car on it and take it off on the highway 15 and driving, and he pushed the thing on the cassette. And here it comes. All that kind of was. Bruno look at Larry. He started bouncing punching his car and push that thing to get that music out.
Oh my
and
God.
He stopped, put his foot on the brake to stop so fast. He stopped, opened the door, went on the other side and grabbed Larry Zbyszko and throw him out. Don't you ever touch my freaking music on the car. And throw Larry right on the road. Larry said he almost killed me, that son of a bitch.
Oh my God.
Oh man. This was like a story that I don't think anybody ever heard before. But like I say, Larry Zabisco is in Florida. You could call Larry, and he'll tell you that's exactly what happened.
Well, I mean, if we ever had the grace of having Larry Zabisco on this thing, I think Keith would blow a gasket right off of his
I'd be very happy. I'm very
shoulders.
respectful.
I'd be very honored to talk to Larry
Yeah.
about wrestling, all things wrestling. But
I'll probably I can set it up there for you. I could have a Larry call and
can you really?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh
That
my
would be
God!
That is a good friend.
You
of
have
mine.
no idea how much that would mean to us. I mean,
I could do that. I could do that. I could call Larry and fix it up.
unbelievable.
You guys could spend an hour on the telephone like we're doing right now. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Keith, don't get too excited now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Oh my goodness. All right, so everybody wants to hear more, Dino. So we'll get off of Bruno, we'll get off of Lou Albano. So do you have any? I mean, a lot of times with these wrestling stories, it seems like the road stories are the most fun, right? Like, if you were on the road with somebody, or you're driving that van, like you're saying, crazy stuff happens. And I remember WWE used to put out a thing where they would tell the road stories. That's some of the newer talent, but I remember that when they had the Legends House where Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Roddy Piper and those guys would tell some of those road stories, and Pat Patterson would tell some of those road stories. Do you have any more of those road stories with certain guys that you haven't talked about yet?
Well, I know one story that I don't think a lot of people know, that one gentleman, he was one of our world champion. I'm going back many years, and this he was over my place here.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Van Erich.
Okay.
Do you guys know that Eric Van Erich had one leg?
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
American fans don't know that. I had him right here in Lansdale wrestling, and we actually had him about 4 or 5 times wrestling here with us. But the one time that really I feel so like I did not know. Okay, all I know was every time Eric was wrestling, he was jumping like crazy, running like crazy,
Right.
and we were in the locker room, because like the other guys, I wanted to pick him up. I want to make sure that he was here on time and all that. And we were in the locker room, and I happened to go through, and I see that he had one leg. And then, because of what he does, he fixes, the wood leg. And
Yeah,
then
he has the prosthetic.
he put the boots on it so nobody could see it. But I feel so, and I don't think a lot of the wrestling fans, maybe something.
Well, we know because they mentioned it there was a documentary about the Von Erichs and the Freebirds and stuff, and I saw they mentioned it during that. There's a Dark Side of the Ring about the Von Erichs too, because a lot of them have had premature deaths. So right. So I mean, I remember them mentioning. I remember Kevin Von Erich mentioning it during the documentary.
Yeah, because he was very private about it. I know that. It had started to come out after his death as something where people were pointing out, that's how good he was. That, he had the motorcycle accident, he had to have the amputation, he had to get the prosthetic, but you couldn't tell. He kept it very private, and it did not affect his work whatsoever. Kerry was a freak of nature.
He could never tell that he had one leg. Never.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know if you guys know, but the time, when he died, okay, that weekend, he was supposed to be with us, do a wrestling show. Oh, yeah. Do a wrestling show right in Indian Valley High School here in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And so I got a phone call from his mom, because, like I said, he wrestled with us for, 5, 6 times, because he was a champion too. And his mom called, and she said that Eric could not make it the event. I said, why is he sick? And she started to cry, and then she told me what happened. I was completely devastated, because I don't expect to hear something like that. And she told me that there was something going on whether it had something to do with a girl or something, but he went to her house and asked for the key for the Jeep. I don't know if you heard the story or not.
No.
And she said, why? She said, he said to her mom, give me that key for the Jeep. I just want to take a ride.
Yeah.
So finally, he got the key for an old Jeep that they had. And, they had hundreds and hundreds of acres someplace where they live. So he got the Jeep and he went and he killed himself.
Yeah. Terrible. Got some comments here for you, Dino. Big David says, wow, thanks, Dino. Love to hear from the other living legend, meaning Larry Zbyszko. More Dino Road stories, please. Chris Vant says, greatest moment I had at age 17 was Piper and Valentine pulled up at a drive-thru at Wendy's when I was working.
Was that one of our shows?
It might, maybe. Maybe. When he was 7, he's around my age. So when he was 17, we're talking like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, they were both healed, and they weren't.
Ask him.
He can hear you. He can hear you.
Oh, do you know what town was the show?
Chris, you know what town the Wendy's was that they pulled up in? That you were working at? He'll tell us. He will tell us. He watches every round of turnbuckle.
Of course, we did have Piper and Valentine. We had Valentine a few times, and believe it or not, yes, we did stop on some drive-thrus sometimes. Some guy said, brother, I don't want to wait for a diner or for a restaurant to stop. Any place you see, give me some food,
Sometimes after a show, right? That's the thing they got to do.
Even before. Leave the airport, back those days, there was no Wawa, you can find a Wawa back there, some 7-Eleven, but 7-Eleven didn't have too much stuff,
What I like about 3WA shows in Quakertown is there's a Wawa within a 2-minute drive from the Q-Mart. Boom, it's right there. Oh, Phillipsburg, New Jersey on Memorial Parkway, Wendy's.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that Wendy's is no longer there.
It's no longer there, but yeah, I remember it well.
I did a show in Phillipsburg, but I'm not sure if it was that one. I also did a show for a police benevolent association.
PBA?
No, PBA in New Jersey.
Because my brother is a high standing member in the New Jersey PBA. He's actually a member of the Phillipsburg Police Force.
Yeah. Next time I talk to you, I'll show you the poster I have someplace.
All right. So now I got a question from somebody you may not particularly care for, and that is Merrick Miami.
Oh,
says, I just want to know why, after beating Matt Cardona, why do I get Nico Gray? Where's the top tier talent? That's a shot at Nico Gray more so than you.
Sure Nico will have a thing or two to say about that.
I think Nico will have a lot of things to say about that. What do you think, Dino?
Well, I'll let you guys finish first. Go ahead.
Yeah, he said, I just want to know why, after beating Mark Cardona, do I get Nico Gray? He's asking you. He's asking you that.
Well, Merrick Miami, like I said it before, I would never put it down. I know you're a great talent. That's why you were the champion. But you also have to understand one thing. There's a lot of guys out there that did not get an opportunity to get in the ring with you when you were a champion. And trust me, I have a long, long list of people that they want to get to you, whether you have a belt or not.
Yeah.
So Nico is one of them. Nico is one of them that has been begging me to get an opportunity to get on the ring with you. And I guess he's, he feels confident that he can beat you. Of course, he's not Matt Cardona, but he could be Matt Cardona tomorrow, just like you're thinking,
Right.
So
he's got aspirations, and a victory over Merrick Miami. A victory over Merrick Miami would do wonders for Nico Gray. But speaking of champions, the 3WA hardcore champion and his manager, the original hat guy, are joining us at this time. Hello, gentlemen.
No, like Dino, all this talk about your road.
You gotta follow me everywhere I go.
You talking about the past and all these memories and all that. You need to be talking about this story, the story of the original Hack Guy and JT Cage and the original family, and this behind me, the 3WA Hardcore Champion. 9 months. People have made love, made babies during my title reign. Talk about that story.
That's a rather terrifying story, I think.
It ain't terrifying. It's true.
I don't know what's your point.
My point is talk about the current situation in 3WA, the current landscape. No, man.
Well, let me tell you something, Dino. Besides the man here, JT Cage, the 3WA Hardcore Champion, the ruiner of it all, come February 26th in Quaker Town, this coming Saturday night, I will be the manager of 2 champions because the latest acquisition, Top Shelf, Tyler Sims, is going to be top dog when he defeats Tony Batista.
Good luck with that.
Credit for timing.
Champion you're talking about?
That's right.
Top Shelf, Tyler Sims.
Oh,
the latest acquisition.
So you got all figured out, right?
Will defeat Tony Batista.
Really?
The people's champion. You're, the one that the boys and the girls and everybody loves so much.
And they praise him and all of this.
Well, good luck with that. He had a good title run, but guess what? Top Shelf is taking over.
Let me say something about Tony Batista and Tyler Sims. Tyler Sims might have more years, a little more experience, because I know I had Tyler Sims go against Scott Steiner up in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. So I know what Tyler Sims is all about. I had Tyler Sims working with us for many years. And that guy, with all due respect, you know me better than you know this man next to you. Okay? Because we've been together for many, many, many years. Through the good time and through the bad time. I know when you were a great gentleman, and I know when you tried to be an a-hole now.
I'm an a-hole.
He's an a-hole.
Whoa.
Let me tell you. You keep saying about the kind of matches that I put you guys on, about Slayer.
Don't even bring that name up in my presence.
Why not? He's your guy, wasn't it?
You see what you did?
Was. You made a valid point. Was.
Yeah, because you made him a problem. You made him a problem to the family, detrimental, so we had to kick him out.
You know what? I managed Slayer for over 5 years. And then maybe the last year or two, he started getting the adulations of the fans. I don't care about the fans. I'm not all about the fans. Slayer did not listen. I put up with this crap for almost 2 years until I couldn't take it anymore. And then we devised a plan. And Malcolm King, the big man, Malcolm King, slammed him all the way to hell.
Told you don't make me do it. I told you
don't. I also love the part where coincidentally Hat Guy finds a new meal ticket when he cuts Slayer loose.
What do you mean meal ticket?
You're telling me there's no correlation whatsoever between signing up Tyler Sims with the title shot of Tony Batista and saying we don't need Slayer anymore. That's just pure coincidence. There was no.
That is total. The thing with Slayer was, like I said, I don't listen to the fans. I don't go for the adulation of the fans. Neither does anybody. JT Cage, the ruiner of them all, doesn't listen to the fans.
I don't think
they listen to me.
I don't think Slayer listens to the fans that much. Like he has never listened to you, hi guy.
This is an animal.
He's always, hey, let me tell you something. I know Slayer better than anyone.
Really?
Yes, I do. I took care of him for over 5 years. I made sure he would not get out of hand. But there were times, of course, he did. And let me tell you something. When he started listening to the fans and started cheering, I did not like. I tried to break him of that. I couldn't do that. So you know what? I did the next best thing. I had Malcolm King slam him to hell.
Apparently,
you're the one that made the match.
Apparently, Slayer and Roadblock feel different than the way you two feels.
Oh, you say like
Roadblock.
That's old news. That's why I beat to get this, and then beat him again in a dog collar match. And
now you'll have to try to beat him in a tag match.
Now you have a tag match.
Man, I'm about to end both of their careers. It's about to be over. You're gonna be talking about them in past tense, like you know him. You knew, because I'm ending them both. You see what I'm saying? Like,
that's how a real champion. That's how a real champion conducts.
It's supposed to be the day of rest. Got my blood pressure up.
You know something? I believe more on wrestler. They do not do a lot of talk, and they do a lot of action. And what I mean about that is talk is cheap. I'm going to have to wait and see what happens next Saturday, because I know one thing, all hell is going to break loose on your match.
And at the bottom of the screen, guys, if you want to see those two and you want to see that tag match with Slayer and Roadblock, come on down to Quakertown on Saturday, the February 22nd.
Slayer and Roadblock versus the rooter of it all, JT Cage, and Marvelous Malcolm King. Don't like why you got to leave that out.
Screws me.
You suck, Alan. You suck.
Yeah, I suck so much that I don't want to hear you no more. See ya.
Time will talk.
Really shouldn't screw with the person in charge of the the show.
Keith. JT Cage and the Hat Guy have been on here many times. And each and every time, sometimes I piss them off, and sometimes they piss me off. And did I not, during that entire exchange with Mr. Dino Sanna, did I not say a damn word? Didn't say a word. And I was trying to promote said event on Saturday that he's going to be part of. Yeah. He's going to say, Alan, you suck. You left that out. Oh, well, you know what? You suck.
You can't please some people, and you certainly can't please people with outsized egos that tend to believe that they're, the greatest thing in the world. Yeah. We'll see what happens Saturday night, but I think Hat Guy made a tremendous made two tremendous mistakes. The first was
Tyler Sims is not a mistake, all right? Tyler Sims is a big dude.
No, I'm not saying anything bad about Tyler Sims here. I have a lot of respect for Tyler Sims, and you know what? We may not love what Tyler Sims does, but Tyler Sims has a legitimate argument. He got screwed. The referee made a mistake in that last match last month.
He thought he was champion, right? He thought he was champion.
Yeah, and credit to Dino that Dino saw it, and Dino said, hey, we've got to have a rematch. That's what's fair. Tyler deserves another shot at it. But Hat Guy's mistakes, I think, were one, letting Slayer go, and two, the way he let Slayer go, putting the boots to him. I would not like to be standing across the ring from a motivated, angry Jersey Shore madman.
Absolutely.
All right, so I got a comment from JT Cage there that I cannot put up because he sent a direct text message that said, how dare you cut us off like you got the last words? Speaking of talk is cheap, your little podcast is cheap. All right. Anyway. Chris Vance says, Mr. Dino, who is the most complete wrestler that you have to see?
Well, I think it means that he has seen.
Oh, okay, that you've seen. Like,
what do you mean about complete?
Yeah. Elaborate on that, Chris, because I didn't understand the question. The most complete wrestler. Who is the complete wrestler you have seen?
Yeah, because I mean that's kind of subjective, right, Dino?
Right.
There's always going to be a certain amount of what you like and what you personally believe is good is going to come into any kind of decision like that. It's subjective.
Rumble time. Thanks, Dave. Cage is back. Me. Yeah, he can't. If he can't be on, if I cut him off, I can't stop his comments. But whatever.
Just all him action speaks louder than words. We will see him on Saturday next week.
We will see him on Saturday. And Merrick Miami did say that he already beat Nico Gray twice.
Well, so, I was going to say something else about Merrick Miami.
Go ahead.
And again, you say you already beat him twice. You know what they say? The third time might be the charm.
For Nico Gray, absolutely. Most technical wrestler. Most technical wrestler. Who's the best technical wrestler that you've ever seen?
I don't know if I could just say one guy. I mean, there's Lars Zbyszko was a nice technical wrestler.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Barbarian, believe it or not, was a great technical wrestler.
Yeah, and I think he gets paintbrushed when he was with the Warlord as a brawler, right? Like with when he was with Warlord, they did a lot more power stuff.
Right.
But when he was singles before that,
almost like another Road Warriors.
Right. But before that, when he was a singles, like when he first started out as a singles guy, he did do a lot of grappling, a lot of like working on a body part, old school stuff.
I actually think that the Warlord and the Barbarian were one of the most powerful tag team wrestling in the business because, my God, Terry, I mean, the Warlord.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen him in person?
Monster.
He's a monster.
He was. Pat says none of them in 3WA. As far as most technical wrestler, none of them in 3WA.
Which one?
I don't know. Hat Guy is saying that nobody in 3WA is a good technical wrestler.
Oh my gosh.
He tends to manage brawlers and cheaters, with Slayer being the notable exception on the cheater bit.
Right.
He's probably talking about the wrestler that he managed, you see.
That's what I'm thinking.
They're not technical, that like hardcore stuff, you know. But
not a big fan of hardcore wrestling.
Well, I am, but if it's hardcore, I believe in a hardcore match, not talk like he does, cheap whatever. Go in and do the action and show me what you know how to do it. You know, show me the action. You know,
I gotta say the Slayer and him match, the dog collar match, that was fun for the fans. But being Keith and I were in the crowd. The crowd was really jazzed about that. There were several moments they were jazzed about that match. Like that was fun for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
That was a great match. And I think that's this coming Saturday is going to be a greatest yet because now there are 4 people involved on that match. But you know, that could that could be a start. That could be a start. This coming Saturday match between those 4 guys, that could be a start of a bigger problem yet to come. Because I know that people on the wings waiting to see what's going to happen Saturday night in this match. And there's a possibility all hell is going to break loose.
I can say it because
like
now
I understand about other people. There's other people that they want a piece of JT Cage or they want a piece of Malcolm King.
Or Merrick Miami, for that matter, like you said.
Well, Merrick Miami, like, you know, I wanted to finish the conversation.
Yeah.
He kind of got away. He's probably here right now.
He's watching.
He's a great individual. He's a great wrestler. I know him since when he started in wrestling, okay? And I'm not going to take anything away from him because he's got the ability, he's got skill and ability to be the best in the business. Mm-hmm. But he also has to remember there's a lot of other young persons out there, young wrestler, that they feel the same way. They want a piece of him. They wanted some action. They wanted opportunity to shove off a little bit and do what they know how to do too, to, you know, possibly to him. You know, he got lucky that night with Matt Cardona. You know, I got a phone call from Matt Cardona a few times already. He said he wanted an opportunity again to get on him.
Oh my goodness!
And if he comes again, he's going to come prepared. So who knows it? In the future, we're going to have that rematch in the future sometime. You know, but I know one thing. I'm going to surprise the wrestling fans in Quakertown few times per year, maybe more than a few times, with a superstar. Okay? Especially April is going to be our 42nd anniversary.
Yes. So, Saturday, April 23rd is the 3WA 42nd anniversary event in Quakertown, and I was privileged to be at the 40th and the 41st. Keith was with me on the 41st, I believe, right, Keith?
Yes. Yep. I was there last year.
But the 40th, I was invited. That was my first ever 3WA show, and I have rarely missed a month since. So, yeah, everybody looking forward to that. So I'm sure you'll have in the next couple coming weeks more information about the April 23rd anniversary show, because they go all out. Let me tell you what, if you've ever been to a 3WA show, the anniversary shows are like their WrestleMania, for lack of a better term, because they go all out. Every single match is a classic. Every single match, he usually brings some guys maybe and girls that maybe haven't been around for a while, and they kind of come in. They all come in and they converge in Quakertown. And kudos to you, Mr. Sanna, because those anniversary shows, it seems like you put a lot more, pay more attention and a lot more detail in those shows, and give them their money's worth for sure.
Well, I do, because I appreciate every single wrestling fan that comes out to our event, and I kind of want to reward them by having some stars. So, there's a lot of stars out there, but there's also a lot of wrestling going on. So
yeah,
I try to find, a couple guys that they're available for that date. And I actually like to get some of the guys that they work for the 3WA back,
in the beginning,
in the 80s and the 90s, guys that they were like Merrick Muhammad then, and now they're superstars, guys that they really help build up the business, like like King Kalua. I know you guys know King Kalua.
Yes,
but
yes.
King Kalua has worked for me since day one, and when he was when he became wrestler. I took King Kalua in the Grand Bahamas. I took him to Nassau Stadium. I took him in a few different places when we did, international wrestling. And so he's been off and on. He's been with us since day one. And, there's another guy, and I know you know the guy, Tony Stetson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tony Stetson. He's been around for a long time, and he's been with us off and on. So I'm going to try to bring some old school wrestlers, and we'll see what happens. We still got some time. I try to put back together some good stuff, And, we're talking about good matches that we had in the past last month or whatever. How about the girls' match? The three girls last time. I think that was a really great match.
Very competitive.
There was a lot of action the whole match.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to all three of them. I think that Francesca's really stepped up her game in the past couple of months. It seems like to me, she really has. And then, of course, Izzy Mccoy. I've seen Izzy McCoy wrestle both in a 3WA ring and in other rings too, and she just keeps getting better and better with the more training that she gets. And then that was my first chance getting to see Riley Crow, and I was very impressed with Riley Crow. And actually, Keith and I are going to be blessed with her presence in the near future. And it's great to see, and a lot of the fans that we talk to, especially during the intermission, a lot of them come up and talk to us about how we felt about the show so far, or like our opinions, which I love that they value our opinions, Keith, like we're experts or something. But anyway, when they come up and they ask us, and they they say things like, oh, it's really cool that there was a women's match tonight, and they want to see more women's matches once in a while from 3WA. And I told him, I said, the thing about the indies is that women are few and far between. You know what I mean? They come in and they either make a big splash really fast, or they come in a lot of times when they're training, it's like them and 20 guys training. It's really hard for them but I say it's a little harder for them to make a name for themselves in the indies than it is for the men, only because, like, getting themselves building their brand and getting themselves booked more often. But it's nice to see
Order to
the
get
past couple
opponents.
months we've had female matches in 3WA. I got another question for you. Chris Vance says, and Big Chris, the moment you come up to New Jersey, Big Chris, because he's from South Carolina, I want you to come with me and Keith to a 3WA show. You'd have a blast. But is there a great up-and-comer in 3WA that you see has a chance to make a big splash and maybe end up on the big stage? And I think he's talking, like AEW or Impact or WWE even.
There's more than one.
Well, there are few. In fact, I already talked to some friend of mine on Impact Wrestling, formerly TNA, and about a few of the guys that they work for me now, and also tag teams that we had in the past. So without mentioning them, but now I'm going to go into names about some of the guys now. And one of the guys, of course, is Merrick Miami. I think you're going to see Merrick Miami he's got a great future, and I think that you will see him advancing very, very fast.
You think that Merrick Miami could be a guy that we see on TV, taking on? I mean, first things first, like he'd have to get maybe an opportunity, maybe because AEW has a thing called AEW Dark, where a lot of guys go in, they try them out and they see what they got, and if they like what they got, they keep them around. And maybe something happens out of that. Do you think Merrick Miami has the tools to do that?
Yeah. But I would think I would want Merrick Miami to get a chance to go on Impact Wrestling instead of AEW, because the reason why I say that by AEW is I have a feeling up here, and it happened before with other company. Okay. Yeah. I have a feeling that AEW they're doing a great job.
Yes.
Okay? We all know they're doing a great job. And I kind of have a feeling that Vince is going to interfere and it's going to, you know what I mean? It's going
I understand. I hope you're wrong, but I was thinking when you mentioned Impact, Matt Cardona is heavily involved with them right now, is he not?
Yeah,
and that could be his connection if he could get a shot, and maybe Matt Cardona could vouch for him.
Well, I got friends in the management.
Keith,
so
you can comment on that.
I usually deal with some people in the office to try to help somebody out, And I think Merrick deserves an opportunity, as I also believe that Tony Batista deserves an opportunity.
I agree with that. There you go, Chris. Merrick Miami and Tony Batista. They're going places.
Yeah, I've said a million times, all Tony needs is the right people to see him.
Yeah.
He has every tool in the toolbox.
So Mr. Cage is back. He says tell the women to get back into the kitchen.
On the show. Completely ridiculous.
I'll say this about another person. There is a girl right now on Impact that used to be our lady champion.
Yes.
Only about a year and a half ago.
Yes.
All right. So that just didn't happen like that. Okay, so she got somebody put the name in and all that. So, and she's doing a great job. But talking about women before we let Mr. JT Cage interfere again.
He's coming back.
Raleigh, she worked for us a few years ago when she first started into the wrestling, and I think that our company probably was one of the first companies that she ever worked for. And we felt so good. We pushed her, and in fact, she became lady champion. She did hold the title as a lady, 3WA lady champion a few years back. And then she got really busy with other wrestling and stuff, and she moved on, and now she's back. And I tell you what, the new Raleigh that you see now, she's so well improved. she's really a lot better than she was. Great a few years ago when she started, but now she's really
She
superb.
did. She looked. That was my first time seeing her live, and I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with her. So much so that I hunted her down to get her to come on our show ASAP because she looked great to me. But again, I must apologize before this happens. We are now being interrupted once more. They're back, Hawkeye and JT Cage.
You know what? Like, first of all, Greg that
couldn't keep us away.
and that Greg Winters kid or whoever that punk is dumb. Tony Batista is the best.
Greg Winters is a 17. Wait, can I answer that? Greg Winters is a 17-year independent wrestler veteran. So him saying Tony Batista is amazing, I respect that praise.
And I've been managing 20 years, so I got 3 years on him.
So what do we say? Those extra 3 years, we say Tony Batista sucks, and he was scared. Did you see the fear in his eyes when I jumped in the ring in front of him? Did you not see the fear? I
was too busy watching you guys run.
Yeah.
So
run.
I
got jumped by like 5 men.
Well, I'm going to say it once. I said it once, and I'm going to say it again. This Saturday night in Quakertown, Top Shelf Tyler Sims is the man that's going to be wearing that World Championship belt, the 3WA World Championship belt, when he leaves Quakertown Saturday night. Tony Batista, you had a good run. You have your fans. Hey, what can I say? Top Shelf Tyler Sims, all the way, baby.
I highly disagree with that.
Two champions.
We're going to celebrate Top Shelf style.
You know, I really.
What do you say about that, Dino Sanna?
Well, technically, 3
I say about that?
I won a chili cook-off just recently, too. I can do it all.
Who the hell cares? Go ahead, Dino. What you were going to say?
I tell you what I say about that hack guy. Do you talk in the ring, Mr. JT Cage? Do you talk in the ring? And about Batista, I'm not going to waste my time thinking about what's going to happen Saturday night because I'm confident about the match. I'm confident about the kind of wrestler that Tony Batista is.
Yeah, cheater.
Leyenda.
A cheater because Tyler Sims had his foot on the rope. He's a cheater.
Let me tell you something. I'm not knocking Tony Batista. He is a great athlete. I'm not gonna knock that. But Top Shelf Tyler Sims is that much better. No, probably that much better. But hey, I'm just telling you, Top Shelf Tyler Sims is the man that will beat Tony Batista. You heard it from the original hat guy. And let me tell you something, Dino Sanna. I know you hate managers. I've come and gone in that company, and I've come back. I've seen managers come and go in that place. I know you don't like managers that much because you don't like what we stand for. Well, tough. I'm here to stay.
I never say I don't like managers or I don't like you guys. I like everybody. Well, you see, that's the problem. That's the difference between you guys and me. You don't like Batista. You don't like this guy. You don't like the other guy. I like everybody. I even like you guys.
Well, your nose just grew about 5 feet.
I just won't put no money on you guys. You know, because I don't want to lose no money.
That's real rich, Dino. That's real rich.
You know what? I don't want to get my man's blood pressure up.
You know what? This show coming up is my 3-year anniversary in 3WA, and I still can't get no respect around here.
He let me hear about myself. What's up with that?
There he goes.
Give him a couple pills.
There he goes, ladies and gentlemen.
It's all your fault, Santa. See what you're starting already. It's not even next Saturday yet, and you're starting already.
There he goes, Gino. There he goes, JT Cage, the current chili cook-off champion.
Go, hey,
we'll see you guys on Saturday, boys.
Go measure his blood pressure.
Wait, what do you got to say, Dino?
Go measure his blood pressure. Making sure he's okay.
He's all right. He's fine. He's in the best shape of his life.
All I know is
always ready to defend his title.
Is when Saturday comes, on my 3-year anniversary, we shall celebrate in style, toasting 2 championships, whether you like it or not. And if you don't, you could go to bed.
There they are, JT Gage and the Hat Guy.
Never
I had about enough of those jabronis. I'm sorry. Mr. Sanna, I would like to apologize on behalf of Around the Turnbuckle for those interruptions.
Yeah, we were going to talk about a lot of stuff.
I told you to make that firewall stronger. I told you.
This guy is they have to interrupt all the time. They're wasting a lot of time.
He did. You know? He did. But again, if you are within a reasonable driving radius from Quakertown, I mean, it's about an hour for me, and you want to see that guy, those 2 guys, get what's coming to them from Roadblock, from Slayer, come on down to Quakertown on Saturday night on the February 26th, and $15 is general admission, and you will enjoy yourselves. Believe me, every time we go, we have a great time. Dino puts on a great card, and the guys really go all out, and they really put on a really great show each and every month. And
it's a very great and appreciative crowd as well. It's a pleasure to be in crowd.
It feels like a family, you know, Dino. When we come down there, and we've gotten to know a lot of your fans, and it feels like a family type atmosphere. Like we're all together again. We're all hanging out before the show. We're all talking amongst each other. I've gotten to know a lot of them by their first names, and I love it. I love that feeling. I've gone to a lot of independent wrestling shows where I don't know anybody, and it doesn't feel like that at all. But I come down to Quakertown, and I feel home. Keith, do you feel that way?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, Keith and Al, Mr. Big Albowski, the difference between us and a few other companies out there is we kind of like old school. Mm-hmm. We like wrestling. I don't like entertainment. I want the guys to go out there and just get on with the show, man.
Wrestle.
Go out there and do it, man. Wrestler. No BS. Just go out there and do what you know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, you ain't gonna be back.
And so I got a question for you. I promised myself before we got off, because we're almost done already, thanks to Mr. Cage and Mr. Hat Guy. But I promised myself that I'd ask you this question because this week, I don't know if you saw the news. It broke all over. It broke on ESPN, on Sporting News. I mean, more outside the wrestling world, that the one and only Undertaker is being honored this year in 2022's Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Number one, have you ever met him? And if you haven't, I'd love your thoughts on the Undertaker, because the Undertaker is the reason why my partner over there got into wrestling in the first place 30 years ago.
Honestly, to be honest with you, I did talk to the Undertaker twice. And also, I talked to a gentleman named Mike Corrado, which probably I shouldn't say the name, but this gentleman also works for Vince.
Yeah.
And I know, because we talking money, you know, when I talk about superstar that I want to use, you know, talking money. So when I talked to somebody in the office and they told me what was to get him, and sometimes money is not everything. Sometimes they have a contract, like, as you know, and they're not allowed. But when the Undertaker left, all right, and now he's no longer full-time WWE,
right,
there is a time frame that has to go by before he can work in the in an independent circuit.
Right, and he's been making the rounds on a lot of shows and TV shows, and he showed up
something like a Legends contract now.
Yeah, and he showed up. He showed up in Dallas unannounced at a Kid Rock concert on the motorbike.
Yeah. He could do that, but as far as wrestling or get inside or a wrestling ring,
Bad Bunny,
he's got a time frame to go by before he could do that. And I think that I'm maybe the first one or the second one in line within the United States that will be able to book The Undertaker soon that time frame passes. And as we get close, whenever that happens, I'm going to rent a facility that will hold a few thousand people. I'm looking at the North Penn High School,
right?
Probably a couple big venues where I could go a couple show, and I want him because that's what I like. I want to bring the big stars into a smaller town and let people who never had the opportunity to go to a place like the Spectrum,
right, or a WWE event or a pay-per-view.
Right. To see these guys, you don't want to go where you have 30, 40,000 people. You can never get close to see it. I want a smaller place where everybody could see this gentleman, the Undertaker or Bruno, whoever it is, close to it, and be able to talk to them, or if we allow to shake hands whenever that time comes.
Right.
With this COVID.
Get an autograph, get a picture, whatever.
And take a picture without paying an arm and a leg.
Right.
Because if I get the guy, if I get the star, we're not going to charge for the people to go and meet the guy when he's in the arena. If he's out there selling merchandise, that's his stuff. You know what I mean? But within the arena, I want the people to be able to say, oh, my God, I get to see this guy. You know.
Then book it, Dino. The dead man versus the ruiner of it all, says Mr. Cage.
Well, that would get rid of Mr. Cage. So I think I might be able to get on board with that one.
Oh my goodness. I think that would last about 30 seconds and it would be something along the lines of a choke slam and he's done, in my opinion, but that's
Absolutely.
But anyway, before we leave here, Dino, your thoughts on the overall, what a run, right? I mean, there'll never be another run like the Undertaker had and the impact he's made on the business in general. I mean, there'll never be another character like that, right?
I don't think there'll ever be another Undertaker, but I also don't think that's the end of it. I just feel like that, not now,
right?
But I think that he's going to get another run, not a long one, but I think he's going to get another run and leave as the number one. Just leave.
Well, I'll tell you, you just made my professor's day by saying that you're second in line to book him after he's bookable, because Keith will be first in line to meet him if that's the case. Trust me on that. Believe me.
Well, he has a few agents, a few people that do the stuff for him, and because of the caliber of a person that he was.
Yeah.
And I've already talked to those guys, so it's time frame that it's got to go.
And I promise Keith that before we stop doing Around the Turnbuckle, which is not going to be anytime soon, believe me. But I mean, when it comes to the point where, I promise Keith that one day, and I don't care if it's 5 years from now or 10 years from now, but one day we will be talking one-on-one with the dead man here. Even if it's for 15 minutes, I don't care. I promised them I'd make that happen. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
but I'm going to do
there's a lot of gatekeepers and whatnot involved there.
I'm going to do it.
Think positive.
Yes, I'm thinking positive because Dino Sanna said that I might be able to have Larry Zbyszko on here, Keith.
Oh, you love it. Trust me, if I say so, you will.
Thoughts on Goldberg, Chris says. You have any thoughts on Goldberg?
I love him. He's one of the most powerful individuals in the business.
He was. I mean, I think he's, past his prime, and he's one of those guys that, at age 50, I think he should. I really think he should walk away.
Well, he said before the match last Saturday here that might have been it. That might have been his last match.
I don't think so. I don't feel there's going to be.
I don't know. I mean, I think that was kind of a jet lag talking a little bit maybe, and the getting on a plane and going to Saudi Arabia. I think if he had something closer to home, you could coax him in there one more time at least.
Thank you, Dino, and Around the Turnbuckle, that guy says.
I feel about Bruno the way I feel about the gentleman we just talked about.
But Goldberg?
I don't think you see the end of him. And I'll tell you what, I think any day, I think Goldberg could go up on a ring and beat the hell out of almost anybody that Vince ever had.
Right.
And I feel the same way when Bruno Sammartino was 65 years old. 65 years old.
Yep.
Bruno could go up on a ring and scientifically beat the hell out of any wrestler Vince ever had.
Now Cage wants to take on Goldberg too. What the hell?
Anything to get the spotlight.
Goldberg versus Cage in a retirement match?
Hey, JT Cage.
Does Cage retire if he loses?
One hand on Goldberg, and I would just have him work with one hand only.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna wrap this up, Dino. Man, we could talk to you all night long, and I don't want to take you up any more time of your time. But I'll tell you what, it's been a journey, both parts. Hearing the stories and hearing the genesis of 3WA and how it came to be, and now 42 years later, you're gonna celebrate your 42nd anniversary, which I'm so glad that Keith and I jumped on board 2 years ago, and that we got to meet a lot of the guys, and we keep meeting a lot of the guys and getting to know you better. I appreciate you to the max of allowing us to do that and allow us to be part of it. And I also appreciate you coming on for a second hour. We had you twice now for 2 hours of nothing but, stories and also, your insights on the business. You can't buy 42 years of experience anywhere. So thank you very much on behalf of me and Keith and everybody that comes in and sees your shows in Quakertown, because I know that each and every one of them would thank you for everything you do for not only this business, but for our entertainment each and every month.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to bring out some stuff and talk to all the fans. And I tell you, it's not the end. I'll be back some other time. And
you heard it here, Keith.
Oh, I love it. Anytime
you're welcome. Obviously, anytime, Mr. Sanna. And anybody watching right now, you want to come see JT Cage and the Hat Guy, get what's coming to him, and all the stars of 3WA. You want to see that main event, that Tyler Sims going up against Tony Batista for the 3WA Heavyweight Championship.
Heck of a match.
It will be, absolutely. The women we mentioned earlier, they'll be in action as well. Come to Quakertown on Saturday, February 26th at the Q Mart. $15 get you in the door, gate 1, and $6. 6 o'clock they open the doors, and you'll have yourself a great time. Trust us on that. We would not steer you wrong when it comes to local wrestling. I'll tell you what, these guys go all out and they put on a great show. Keith, you got any parting gifts, sir?
Just the usual. I want to thank everybody who commented. I'll even include JT and Hat Guy in that.
Well, Keith, speaking of him, he did mention, so you did not want to advertise our 3WA pre-show. So yes, sorry. I apologize to Mr. Sanna, and I apologize to Mr. Cage as well. This Saturday, Keith, at 12 noon, JT Cage and myself will be breaking down the entire card. Every single match. We will talk about each and every match on the card, because at that point, although cards are subject to change, we will know at that point. We'll go down the entire card and we'll have my thoughts and his thoughts on the entire card as we have been doing over the past 3 or 4 months now. And it's always been interesting. It's interesting who kind of shows up. We've had Evan Atlas, the current 3WA Extreme Champion, show up. We've had Greg Manuel show up. We've had Merrick Miami show up. Nico Gray show up. So you never know. We've had Theo Ivory show up. So you never know who's going to pop in on those 3WA pre-shows. So please tune in to this channel right here at 12 noon on Saturday. And Mr. Cage and I will be breaking down the entire card, Mr. Sanna.
You never know. I might even be there.
There you go.
That's right. Well, usually you're working, but you did say that this week you might be able to
I'm off this Saturday, so I'm
There
gonna
you go. The professor's going to be in the house.
Probably go up.
There you go. And you know what, Keith? I don't know what else we can say to Mr. Sanna except, Mr. Sanna, I would love you to have the last word. Sir, the floor is yours. Anything you want to say?
I just want to say thank you for allowing me to share an hour with you guys, and to all the 3WA wrestling fans, trust me, the best is yet to come.
Yeah, pleasure was all ours.
I promise.
There it is, Keith. We'll see everybody at 12 noon on Saturday for the 3WA pre-show. And we'll see everybody next Sunday, same time, 6 o'clock, with our next guest on Around the Turnbuckle. Tonight's guest was the president and owner of 3WA, and his name is Dino Sanna. Come see us at Quakertown on February 26th. Keith and I will be there if you want to come and hang out with us and watch some great wrestling. Thank you very much, Dino.
Take care.
And Keith, we'll see everybody next time on Around the Turnbuckle.
You think you know me?
Oh, yeah. If you smile.
Calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour,